everyone. Thanks for being here, AJ. I hope everyone had an awesome 4th of July. What did you do?
I hung out with my family, played some baseball, ate some food. How about you?
Pretty much the same thing. Cool. What'd you eat? Hot dogs and burgers?
No, I'm vegan, actually, so I just basically ate nothing because there's not much to eat on July 4th for vegans.
Well, you could do like a vegan hot dog.
Well, they make vegan hot dogs. Those are amazing, but I don't know why I didn't have one yesterday. I should have.
Let's talk about your music now.
Sure, that's better than talking about veganism, because I could preach about that all day, as all vegans can.
iHeart Radio.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so right now I'm in the top 25. I'm actually in the top 5 right now. Yeah, and thank you so much. This has been such an amazing opportunity for me to be in this competition. You know, I just got off tour with Pentatonix, and we'll talk about that, as I know you were telling me earlier. But it's been such an amazing opportunity for me to see how much support I could get from fans, and see this, because this is really my first competition like this that I've ever been in before. So, you know, the support and the hard work from my fans and just all the love that I've seen is much more than I could ever imagine, really, so far at this point in my career.
So let's tell the audience, how does the competition work?
Sure. So we started with 25 people out of a select 800 group. They went on to 25, and I didn't even know I was in a selected 800 group. I got an email one day saying, you're in the top 25 for the Macy's iHeart Radio Rising Star competition. And, you know, it was really, really incredible. And then they got to the top 5. And then when I saw my name in the top 5, I was like, wow, this is real. These fans are really, really going crazy, and they're doing amazing. And, you know, now we've been in the top 5 for the last couple of weeks, and now they announced the winner, I think, tomorrow. So we're a little nervous right now, but we're excited at the same time. And no matter what, it's been really, really incredible to see the support of the fans.
I mean, top 5 is pretty rad.
Thank you.
Like, do people have to address you in the third person now?
I mean, sometimes.
I know that's what you said backstage, so I was just making sure. I know that you're a New Yorker.
Go New York!
Right? Let's talk about your music and how you got started. I know that you have a really great backstory of how you came to the attention of the music industry.
Sure. So growing up in New York, which is easily the most culturally diverse city in the entire world, I think I've been inspired by, you know, so many different types of people because New York is so diverse. So I think sonically my music has so many different influences, and we'll talk about my single, and my single definitely has a lot of, you know, cultural influence as well. It's not some straightforward sound. But growing up in New York and how I got my start, I started doing school shows and camp shows, and, you know, just trying to get my name out there within that world.
And how old were you when you first got the music bug?
So I'd say that like every kid, I say I started singing when I first, was born, but I really started focusing on my music career around 14 years old. And actually started as a tennis player, so that's how I get my competitive side, and that's why, I'm working so hard for this competition. But at the same time, I was doing those school shows and doing those camp shows, and we were talking about this earlier, but, the way I really got my start was I found a lot of email addresses online of everyone I can find in the music industry, and just sent out emails to an email blast to every single address I could find, whether it was a manager, a producer, an agent, every single address I can find online. I was just fearless and sent it. And I said, let me know what you think. And I probably got 1,000 people that didn't respond to me, but at the same time, there were people that did respond to me. And I think that's something I learned through this whole process is you've got to be fearless. You've got to be willing to do things and understand, there are going to be people that say no, but at the same time, one yes is more powerful than 1,000 no's.
What was the most memorable email that you ever sent out, or email exchange?
Sure. The most interesting one was when someone responded to me saying, no, this is terrible. And I'm like, great, you've inspired me so much, because at the same time, or even, people saying that yeah, I'm going to help you, and just never responding. And I'll tell you more about my single when we talk about that, but that's really what it is all about. And what I've realized is you can't, worry about what other people think of you, and you really can only focus on yourself and rely on yourself, not just in music, but in this whole world. And it's important to have people that that are around you and that support you, but at the same time, you gotta understand for yourself, and you gotta believe in yourself more than anything.
Speaking of your single, Tongue, what inspired it?
Sure. So if you listen to Tongue, you think probably it is a romantic song, or it is about love or loss. But for me, I wrote it from the perspective of broken promises and people saying that they'll be there for you. So the line in the song is, am I slipping off the tip of your tongue? Kind of like, did you forget about me? And I feel like, as I was saying, everyone's been promised something, and sometimes people don't follow through with those promises. And I wanted to get rid of that idea and get rid of the fact I can't rely on what other people say they can do for me, or what they may do for me, and I can only focus on how I can better my career and better myself. And I feel like that song, I got that off my chest, and now I'm at the point where I'm doing this all independently, and I'm doing this all on my own, and it's really, really awesome to see how relying on yourself can help yourself.
Where did this confidence come from? You're so young.
I think it's because I'm a New Yorker. I mean, New York has that mentality over there. And it's also my parents. I have amazing parents. They're actually here back there if you want to say hi. They're waving.
Hi, parents.
And they're just, I really do think it's New York and tennis, as I was saying, being so competitive with tennis and playing so hard when I was a 12-year-old kid with tennis every single day, just being really competitive, really confident with my game. I think that helped my music a lot.
Do you think hearing the word no, as you were saying when you were sending out those emails, did you ever feel discouraged, or did that just build up your fortitude?
I mean, I can't lie. I say it. I started this out like 14 years old, so of course hearing no, that's terrible, no, that's never going to work, was not the best thing ever. But at the same time, it really did inspire me, and it inspires me now. There's a line in one of the songs I wrote. I've actually never said this in an interview before, and my manager's probably going to get really mad at me because she hates this song. But there's a line in the song that says, I don't even know what the line is. It's like, no's are the only real yeses. Right? Isn't that what I wrote? Something like that. And it's really just like, for me at least, I feel like so many people out there as well can agree that, we can only learn from our mistakes, and no's are kind of like mistakes. No's are people saying, they're not just people saying it'll never happen, but they're people saying, I want better. I want it to be a yes. And I feel like sometimes people want things to be better, want them to be yeses, and that's why they say no. So they really do inspire me whenever I hear no. So I want everyone out there to scream no. No! Scream no! No!
No!
I'm like that movie Yes Man, but I'm like No Man, because that inspires me more than yeses.
Who's the first person who hears your songs and that you think has the most truthful response to them?
Sure. I mean, my manager, because she's with me. She picks me up after the writing sessions. But I show them to my brother right after, my older brother. He's actually the one who really got me into music at the first place. He's an amazing singer. I don't know why he never pursued singing. He's actually in college right now. But at the same time, he really understands music. He loves music, and he's the one who introduced me to people like Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder, people that really have inspired my music. And so that's why, even though he's not pursuing music, I really trust his opinion on my music.
And he'll be like, AJ,
Oh, I've definitely heard that. Yeah.
What's your writing process like?
Sure. So I go into the studio, and this is what I say as well. There's no typical writing process for me. I'll go into a studio because I like to collaborate with so many different types of people. I don't like to work with the same people because I feel like every single day there is something new that can be created. So when I go into the studio, I usually have an idea already to talk about, and I usually get these concepts from I'll look at like a poster or I'll look at a sign and see something that will inspire me and think how can I make that into some sort of double meaning. So for me, tongue is what I'm and I was thinking, how can I make some sort of like romantic song into something that is truer to me? And am I slipping off the tip of your tongue? It's that message of feeling forgotten, feeling broken, and with promises. And so that's usually how the idea comes about. And then what I do usually is come up with the melody next and, do some sort of stupid thing like, da, 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 like some weird melody, and then put the lyrics on top of that, and then obviously the instruments and everything on top as well.
And then you have a song.
And then I have a song. It's easy, just like that. It takes 1 minute, just like that.
Yeah. I was about to say, you make it
1
sound
minute
so
for
easy.
a 3-minute song.
If you held a knife to my head, I'd be like, I get right.
No, you could do it. You could do it. Yeah. Well, we'll do it
no
together
one would
after.
want to hear it.
After.
What was the first song or album that you heard that, an album is such a quaint term actually, right? Like,
It is, like what?
But still, Thriller's like the ultimate album. But what was the first song that you heard where you were like, damn?
I love the script. The Man Who Can't Be Moved by the Script, I think, is the best written song of all time. It's really just, the lyrics are so true and so real, and you feel like you're there. And I feel like, you were talking about Thriller. I feel like Michael Jackson has done such an amazing job of making you really feel like you're there with him. And because he really connects to it. It's not only about, the literal words in the song or the melody. It's the emotion that these, they're kind of actors, these singers, that they really put into, how they sing it. So people like Michael Jackson and what I was saying, Stevie Wonder, or even people today like Justin Timberlake, and I think the most successful singers of all time are the people that really, truly feel the way that they're singing it, because that is an art in itself. And I think, The Man Who Can't Be Moved, I think, is the best written song of all time. But I think people like Michael and people like Stevie are the ones who are the best songwriters because of how they emote.
Yeah, and you're right, because you can't fake it. If you don't feel it, it's pretty damn obvious, right? Yeah, exactly. You are super active on social media, and obviously you have a really nice fan base. How do you incorporate social media into your music career?
So I think social media is incredibly important, but at the same time, I think there are definitely downfalls with it. I came at the time where, social media was extremely big, but at the same time, I'm like in the middle of that. I'm like in the cusp. So my older brother doesn't really use social media that much because he's not really in that world. However, my two younger siblings are like really in it. They're like
crazy Snapchatters
crazy.
And all that good stuff.
And I'm like directly in the middle of that where, I see the importance of it and I see how important it is for, me to connect with my fans on a daily basis. And I love that so much. I love the ability that it gives me to connect with my fans all across the world. At the same time, I don't think it's the only thing that is important. I truly agree that, songwriting is more important than anything. And, just being a good person is more important. But at the same time, I do see, the importance of social media.
So do you tweet at your fans every day, or what's your process?
Every single day. I can't, like right now I want to be tweeting at them, but I don't have my phone on stage with me and it's driving me insane. No, I'm kidding. No, I do it a lot. However, I don't let it rule me because I do think it's something that we, it's becoming so prevalent in our society, and I don't want it to take over my life because I know how addictive we could get to social media, and I don't want that to happen.
I know, right? Like, are you able to get through dinner without going online?
I think my parents did an amazing
right?
job of that as well, making us put our phones away at the table, even though sometimes now my parents are the ones at the table at the beginning of the dinner with the phones out, and we're all telling them now, like, put your phones away, and they're looking at us like, you're telling us to put our phones away? Like, what's going on? This is 2016.
That's so cool that your parents did that. When did they start that?
When we first got phones, which was definitely too early in our lives because we have become addicted to our phones. But yeah, for always, forever. Yeah.
Who do you want to collaborate with if you could pick anyone?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Michael. But I feel like that's such a common answer. I feel like everyone says that they would work with Michael. I'd love to work with Rihanna. I've been inspired so much by Rihanna. I think her music is so cool. I'd love to work with Justin Timberlake. I don't know. I'm giving you basic answers.
Those are good.
I think no. Actually, here's a cool. I'd love to work with 21 Pilots. Do you know 21 Pilots, the group now? They sing "Stressed Out." Now we're stressed out. They sing "Ride." I'm taking my time home. I think they're really, really cool and really innovative with their sounds, and I think they incorporate so many different elements of rock music, but at the same time they include a lot of rap. Like I think Eminem was a big influence on them. I don't know if they've ever said that, but I can see how that could be a factor. And I just love people that mix so many different sounds, and that's what's inspired me so much, and that's why I love, as a New Yorker, being inspired by so many different things. And I think working with a group like that would be amazing.
21 Pilots, are you listening? Are you listening? When you were starting out, do you remember what it was like being on stage?
Yeah, I was nervous, but I feel like at the same time playing tennis, I was on a stage at the same time, so I wasn't like freaking out ever. I've never really had that true freak out moment, like, I'm going to mess up, I'm going to do this. But I've definitely messed up on stage a lot, especially earlier in my career. We're supposed to wear in-ear headphones when we're on stage, and they've definitely fallen out before early in my career. And I've had a nosebleed on stage, which was definitely wild.
Was it stress-induced?
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but I don't know if the audience saw it. They probably saw it, but I did my best. And it was at the beginning of my career too, and trying to make it seem as like real as possible. And being a tennis player, as I was saying, I feel like it wasn't so crazy and so nerve-wracking for me.
Well, I mean, watching your video here, you're in front of these huge crowds and you just got off tour. What is that experience like when you've just got thousands upon thousands of people there?
It's such a rush, and I think, firstly, because I have really bad eyesight, I can't see anything that's going on.
That probably actually helps, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps, and I think that's probably why I don't get nervous. But at the same time, there are really, really bright lights, and I can't see anything, so I think it's a mixture of the two. But it's also the adrenaline rush, knowing that there are people out there screaming for you, willing to like support you and your music is really, really awesome and really, incredible to see. And wanting to give them the best show as possible, and knowing that I'm so lucky to be doing what I'm doing, and I can't be nervous for that. I got to make the most of that and those opportunities.
And not to be precious, but do you have a pre-show ritual?
I do, kind of. We like pump up music in our room before, like blast it, like go crazy. And then we have a moment of like silence. We do a little prayer. We're not like really religious people, but we're kind of spiritual in that we're like, okay, this is going to be the best show ever. I don't know why I'm whispering right now, but this is going to be the best show ever. And then we go on stage and I just, do my thing, but it's really awesome, I think.
And what about when you get off stage?
When I get off stage, usually what we've been doing is we go straight to meet and greet. So I have my whole crew right around me, and I'm like that person that just walks and acts like I'm so cool because I have to go all the way and drink my water and have someone pat down my face and make sure I'm not sweaty. So I like walk past them and have this like face of like, I'm so cool. However, I really just want to take a second of like, all right, that was awesome. That was amazing. But I'm still in my zone, and then I got to my fans and I'm like, what's going on? And then everyone around me is like, you were just walking, doing like this whole like, you're so cool thing. But I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm just
that's just like you're in like the stage zone.
I'm in the zone, yes. And I was saying that I feel like people like Michael and people like Stevie, they have their or Kanye even have their like personas of when they're on stage, and like they're this different ultra ego. And I feel like that's me on stage. I have to come up with a name for that.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you. Let's come up with a name right now.
My name's AJ. What about like JA? What do you think? You don't like it?
It needs to be like more fierce.
Do you have any ideas? Come on.
No. What do you guys think?
Anyone? What do you think of JA? Yeah? Cool. Ja. Jason.
With like an accent aigu or something. You are from New
Like an
York, so you
accent.
got to incorporate
Of
like
course,
some
gotta
sort
incorporate
of
a lot.
situation. What are you doing next?
See,
we get the results tomorrow.
Sure, we get the results tomorrow, and I'm just pushing my song to radio as much as possible, trying to get it as big as possible. I really believe in this song so much, both sonically and emotionally. I feel like so many people connect to it. So I want to see how far we can go with this song and then take it from there. I have a lot of other material ready to be released. However, we're trying so hard to get this song to #1, and we need the support, everyone out there, to call Z100, call your local radio stations, and push for the song to be #1. That's truly what I'm going to be doing for the next.
What advice would you have for these guys? Like, I'm guessing there's a couple of musicians in the bunch.
I would say just be fearless, like I was. That's how I got my start. I feel like no one would have believed in me if I wouldn't have sent those emails out and wouldn't have just gone crazy at the beginning of my career. And I feel like people really respond well to people, believing in themselves and having confidence and just going crazy and really doing whatever you can to further your career. And what I was saying, not relying on what other people say they can do for you, just doing as much as you can on your own, and then having people come help you. Don't reach out for other people to come help you. Do as much as you can on your own, and then other people will come.
And what about in terms of songwriting?
I'd say come up with something that is unique to yourself. Don't try to model it after anyone else. Use your influences. Do whatever it makes you unique. For me, I've been inspired by R&B, as I was talking about, a lot of that. But at the same time, I was inspired by true singer-songwriters, people like John Mayer, people like Ed Sheeran. So I've merged those two sounds together. And I'd say, as a songwriter, try to just come up with something that can make you different from anyone else, sonically.
Are you able to listen to music now just as a fan?
I am, and people ask me that, and I'm like, what do you mean? I think that music really is that one thing that can really change anything. So whenever I'm sad, I listen to a sad song, and
What?
Ooh, good question. What do I listen to?
Sorry to put you on the
Sure,
spot.
no. I think I listen to a lot of Coldplay. When you try your best, but you don't seek that song, I just go crazy. Fix You, it's called. I go wild. But at the same time, I feel like sad songs make everything so much better when you're sad. And that's so weird. Isn't that so weird? You think you should listen to Because I'm Happy if you're sad, but no. Sad songs make you happy.
What's a song that you listen to most often, that you find yourself going back to?
Right now, I'm listening to Can't Stop the Feeling by JT. I was going to do Can't Stop the Feeling, but I haven't done my vocal warm-ups yet this morning, so I'm not going to do that, even though I just did that.
Wait, so how do you prep your vocal?
Oh, I do should we do that?
Really do that?
Oh, yeah, I really do that. And I actually, I was with Pharrell a couple of years ago, and I was in his dressing room, and he was doing those warm-ups, and I was like, people really do that? People really do these voice warm-ups? And then I started doing more shows, and I was like, yeah, I should probably do this if Pharrell's doing this. Yeah.
You know what? We had Pharrell here, and he said that he writes his best songs in the shower. Just as an FYI.
Have to do that then, I guess.
Yeah, because he said that's the one time.
He writes some pretty good songs.
I mean, I think
should
he
start
knows.
doing
I think
that.
he knows.
Screw these sessions, all these writing sessions. I should just write all my songs in the shower.
I think that's a 2016 goals, right?
16 goals. Yeah.
And let's turn it over to our audience now.
Hi, AJ. Thank you for being here. So, if you had a chance to interview one of the past dead or alive musicians, what question would you ask? Or what would be the number one question you'll ask them that you're curious about?
Sure, that's a good question for me. I'd say, why are you doing music? What is the true reason why you're pursuing a music career? Because I feel like everyone has their different reasons. But for me, I'm such a huge fan, as I was saying, I've probably said this 1,000 times today, of Michael Jackson. I really want to know what Michael's reason for pursuing music was for, whether it was to inspire the world, which he definitely did, or whether it was because he truly did love music. And that's something I really want to know. I want to know what was his reason for pursuing a music career.
Next question,
Great
please.
Hey AJ, thank you for being here. Have any of the original artists that you've covered given you any praise or contacted you?
That's a great question. And actually, yesterday that happened. I just did a cover of Don't Let Me Down by the Chainsmokers and Dea. And I got a text from Dea saying, wow, I love this cover, and like how much you think it was so cool that I changed it. And it's just really awesome to see. I haven't been doing this my whole life. I was saying I was a tennis player. I only started this truly like 3-4 years ago. So it's really awesome to see getting support from like major artists at a point of my career where I'd say I'm not all the way where I want to be yet, but I'm at the point where it's really cool to see this happening.
And last question, please.
Hello. You said that you really like social media. I wanted to know, does social media influence negatively or positively your creative process?
I'd say it does both. I'd say it definitely, inspires me to want to change the world more, seeing all the terrible things that are happening in this world. It makes me want to write songs more about being together and love, but at the same time, seeing how much social media can hurt people and hurt people's lives, I think it definitely negatively can impact my creative process, but I think more positively than negatively because of that reason of inspiring the world.
And where can we hear your single, Tongue?
You can check me out on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rhapsody, Apple Music. Wow, I can't believe I just did that. I think everywhere, wherever you can.
I think your career is doing pretty well. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you,
Thank you
AJ.
so much. Thank you.